Good morning and welcome to another episode of the 5 a.m. Broker. It's a full moon. Just thought I'd point that one out. It's a beautiful morning. Sun is coming up, or we've got first light. I've had a massive, put a 2-week period on there, packing my personal belongings, moving house, unpacking, moving in the weekend, throwing the Bondi to Bronte, which was just absolutely sensational. We had 2,400 entries. We had, I don't know the number, but it was over 100 volunteers attend. Beautiful weather. Unfortunately, made a last-minute course change because Bronte was just horrendous with the conditions. Wonderful event, working with amazing people. Water safety, got so much positive feedback for all of their support out on the water for the swimmers as they're doing their swim. Had the first ever 5K swim, my 18th Bondi to Bronte event that I've been involved in. Massive weekend with all the packing and moving. It's been a big one. Then on Tuesday, we had the RBA cash rate or meeting, and the cash rate has gone up another 0.25 points. We are now at 3.10% cash rate. And some of the lenders immediately passed that on that afternoon. It was almost like it was just the email was ready and they just had to hit send. So anyway, what does that do for everyone out there? Well, of course, the lenders are likely going to pass on the full rate across the board, whether it's now, Tuesday, next week. It's coming, I suspect, from all the lenders. And then that will impact borrowing capacity for everyone who's out there, who's had their servicing done last month, 2 months ago, whoever's out currently looking for property and doing their property searches. Make sure that you get back to your broker and you have a chat about, has this rate increase impacted my borrowing capacity? And if you were going for the very upper end and you're maxing out your borrowing capacity, then it's even more important. If you had plenty of wiggle room in your borrowing capacity, then it's quite possible that it hasn't changed your situation. But property searches, if you jump onto our website, we can actually, it's not quite ready yet. I'll have to speak to my web designer and make sure that gets up and gets live. But the ebook on how to prepare for a home loan and how to go out there and get property is going to be live soon. And in that book, we are at the stage of property searches, and property searches is one of the most time-consuming parts of the process. You've got all your homework done, you've done your borrowing capacity, you've done your living expenses, you've got your deposit. Now it's time to find that property that ticks the box. And sometimes this is where people get stuck, completely stuck. They can't find the right property, the property that they want in the area that they want to live in. They can't get it, and then they get stuck, and then they don't progress after that, or they come back and get another pre-approval or whatever it is. So sometimes I think it's really worthwhile just investing in a buyer's agent, because this is what they do for a living. They look at the profile, look at the checklist, your personal checklist, and then they go out and they find that property for you. And it can save you a lot of time, especially when these buyer's agents have direct contact with sales agents and they have access to properties that are not yet on the market. So definitely worthwhile. But if you're going to go through the process yourself, okay, it's a matter of doing your searches, and even if the properties aren't the right ones, they don't tick all the boxes, it is still worthwhile going out and going to inspections, meeting with sales agents, asking lots of questions, listen to what other people ask. Asking questions and finding out the information that you need to know, like basic information. If you're buying in an apartment block, is it strata title, or is it company title? Two very, very big changes for the different lenders, because some lenders won't actually give you money for a company title. So really important questions. Are there any developments that are happening in the area? Are there any issues with the property? Have there been any renovations recently that were done? When were they done? All these little things that you should start getting in the habit of asking, just to find out information and get comfortable with asking the questions, like, have any offers been made on this property? And if there have been offers, what's the status of the offers? Have they been accepted? Even asking what the offer was to see if it's within the price range or the price guide. if the property is going for auction, then even if you're not buying it, attending auction and just getting a feel for what happens at auctions is also really helpful. Because if you do end up finding yourself at auction, then you probably want to understand what happens when you show up, the registration process, how the bidding works, that there'll be people there on phones, you know, they're representing a buyer, and if you can't make it to the auction, what do you need to do? What sort of deposit do you need to have available on the day if you're going to auction and you win the bid? All these wonderful questions that you want to be asking your sales agent. But again, if you have a buyer's agent, then they can do all of this for you. They can represent you at auction. They can remove all the stress of actually having to bid and, oh, am I going too high? They just do it without the emotional attachment, and it's a much easier process sometimes. For me, it worked really well, because the property that my buyer's agent found, they said it's a great property, and I was like, oh, I'm not too sure, I'm not confident about this. But anyway, the value of the property went up significantly after it was purchased, which meant I didn't really know what I was doing when it comes to buying property. The property before that I bought, it was a lemon. I did all my research, I thought I knew what I was doing, bought the property, and it went down in value. So for me, using a buyer's agent is an absolute no-brainer, because it saves me time and makes life a lot easier. Anyway, that's my blast for the morning. 5 a.m. broker, full moon. Have a great week. Week finished to the week, blah, 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 weekend. I'll see you soon.